Egra directs you through a few twists of the hall, starting to fear that it is actually Egra that is having a laugh. When she says stop, the wall is to your right. You halt and feel along the wall. It feels solid. What is this about? Says Kriya nearby. You slide your hand down the surface, and suddenly your hand slips into the wall. Oh, says Kriya. I thought there must be a way through here. You say, why? Says Kriya. It just makes sense when you think about it. You say, nodding at Kriya with your most thoughtful expression. You know think about this. When he says that, it just makes sense when you think about it. And the thoughtful expression, think of handsome Squidward's face, and think of handsome Squidward saying that. That is why I'm laughing. It's fucking funny. When you factor in the entirety of the maze, it's clearly just a classic maze. You sigh and shake your head slowly. I must admit, I'm a little disappointed by its simplicity. Nonsense, says Kriya. What did I tell you about your unbecoming dour cynicism, you say, lifting your eyebrows at her. Now I've done as I promised and found a way out, but even I do not know what is through that exit. Now it's your turn to do something useful. Send your rat in first. Very well, but if he is armed, I shall burn you like a torch, says Kriya as she puts her knapsack on the floor and opens it. Without hesitation, Hawes leaps out of the bag. Belly flops onto the floor. Yeah, his belly is huge apparently. Belly flops onto the floor. Despite your revulsion of his long hairless tail, you smile. I like his enthusiasm. He loves to serve his mistress, says Kriya, her eyes wide and loving as she watches Hawes. She's really weird with her pet. I guess she likes to control things, and since her pet is easily controllable, she likes it. The rat gets up on his haunches and looks up at Kriya like a round furry philosopher. Kriya leans down and whispers something you don't understand. The rat turns and disappears into the wall. After a moment, she says, "He is well. It is safe." She gets onto her hands and knees and crawl into the wall and disappear. Not wanting to be left behind, you follow. Pure darkness is around you for a moment. This quickly gives way to blurry light, and you suddenly realize you're underwater. Underwater, or it's an illusion? Struggle not to panic or shout. Holding your breath, you take a moment to look around. Quickly, you see the source of life and swim towards it. You surface in a stone fountain. In the middle is a nude female statue with large rounded breast. Your hand brushes the top of the pond. You realize it's not deep. You stand up, water cascading off of you. Kriya is standing outside the fountain. Hawes is sitting on the fountain wall, which is only a few feet high. The rat and the Kriya appear completely dry. You brush your hands against your tunic. I am dry, you mutter. This is madness. What? I am dry, you mutter. This is madness. Mad magic, says Kriya, smiling maniacally. It's an evocation of something akin to water, a substrate for a portal. Then why are they dry? Did she use a dry spell or something on her? Unsure what that means, you hurry and yeah, I need to read this, okay. There's gotta be some, if he says unsure what that means, this fucker has gotta be hiding something in here. Rat and Kriya appear completely dry. You brush your hands against your tunic. I'm wet, right? I am wet. Okay, I am dry. Okay. They are dry, not because Kriya used some magic, but I am dry as well. Okay, I am dry, you mutter. This is madness. Mad magic, says Kriya, smiling maniacally. It's an evocation of something akin to water, a substrate for a portal. It's like hydrophobic, something like that. Unsure what that means, you hurry and get out of the fountain, splashing the water-like substance onto the floor, which remains only for the shortest moments before disappearing. Looking around, you see yourself in the middle of a large square chamber, perhaps 50 meters across. The stonework looks... I'm amazed that Kalaak is not here. I'm guessing Kalaak is watching. There's no way he's not watching. That other chick was watching, Drala, when we came to her. Looking around, you see you're in the middle of a large square chamber, perhaps 50 meters across. The stonework looks similar to what you've seen in the rest of the castle. Other than the fountain, there is nothing in this room except for a stone face of a clean-shaven, scowling man inlaid into the wall. The face nearly covers the height of the wall, perhaps 4 meters high. No door, you say, twirling around. Let me guess, we have to talk to that? You point at the stone face. Kriya frowns, leaps down, opens a knapsack. Hawes jumps into the fountain wall, bounds over, leaps into the bag. You expect trouble, you ask. We escaped the maze. Shh, says Kriya. Do you hear that? Come to think of it, it's a low buzzing. Just then the stone face's mouth opens wide, and the inside turns blue. Is it about to spit fire? Out of the massive mouth steps a horse. Actually, half man, is a centaur. A centaur steps out of the fucking. Is it a portal or something, or is it like an illusion or something? His upper body is naked, well muscled, with surprisingly little chest hair considering his lower half, the horse part. He has lengthy, unkept hair as though he has never combed in his life. His beard is braided. In one hand, he clutches a spear as long as a knight's lance, armed with a stone tip. Centaur, you say. You've only heard the bard's tales about these mythical beasts summoned by a spell, says Kriya. Centaur stamps his back hooves as though confirming his footing. No problem. Centaurs are not so bad, you say. Raise your voice to him. I say, this is a magnificent beard you have, sir. The centaur rears up, then bursts forward into a charge, leveling his lance at you. Okay, it's a spell centaur. It's not a real centaur, so it's just here to fight. That would be hilarious to tell Agra to use slippery spells, but she will probably make me slippery too. So let's just jump into the fountain. He won't be able to do anything with that. Take cover in the fountain. Run, you shout as you turn back, run a few steps and leap over the low fountain wall, not into the not wet water. Rooster, shouts Kriya. Her voice is right behind you. She must have retreated too. Watch out. Instinctively you duck behind the fountain statue as a spear tip nicks off the stone. The centaur glares at you as he trots around the low fountain wall. Meanwhile, Kriya is underwater in the shallow pool. You don't see any blood. Hopefully, she is just hiding. This is summoned centaur. This summoned centaur must be Kalaak's doing. Kalaak, you shout as you maneuver to keep the statue between you and the centaur. That must be hilarious. Just like going around the statue. But the thing is, the spell centaur has a stone-tipped spear, so it should not be able to pierce the statue that easily too much. But then again, it is made out of spell, so technically it's not stone tipped, it's like magic tipped, so it should be able to break through, I suppose. Kalaak, you shout as you maneuver to keep the statue between you and the centaur as he trots around the fountain, looking to skewer you. We have information for you. If you kill us, you will not get the information. The centaur shouts something in what must be a strange language, or perhaps Elvish. You don't understand the meaning, but you get the emotion. He's frustrated. Valuable information, you shout. Kriya surfaces from the fountain pool. Although she drips water, her hair is dry. Her eyes focus on the centaur. She readies her hand, no doubt she intends to cast a spell. Perhaps fighting is the only way, you think. Just then the centaur leaps up into the air, down into the pool. He's going to trample Kriya. He raises his hoofs above her head. Just then, as the centaur's hoofs begin to descend, he vanishes. Okay, so Kalaak is coming in. Thank you, you call, directing your voice towards the stone face on the far wall. That was rather close. Maybe we could just give you our message and be on our way. we still talk like we just don't give a shit what's happening. Archmage, we humbly ask you for an audience. Although we are uninvited and unworthy, says Kriya, who is now standing and clutching her squirming knapsack. The stone mouth opens. Come in. It says in a deep rumbling voice. Just the sort of voice you'd expect from a stone massive face. Yes, I understand what type of voice you're talking about. He wants us to crawl into the mouth, you think? Does that frighten you, champion? Well, obviously, it's a giant fucking stone mouth, and on top of that, it must be claustrophobic as fuck in there. I don't know how, small it is. Man, this is fucking shitty situation, but okay, let's see what we can do. I would be insane if I didn't, you say. It's unnatural for one to want to crawl into a giant mouth. Look at the fountain. It looks normal and without any visible doors or stairs. You're starting to really dislike magic and its disregard for common sense. No doubt Kriya is enjoying herself though. As though confirming your suspicion, Kriya is already out of the fountain, dutifully walking toward the stone face. You hurry up and jog up beside her. Are you sure about this, you whisper? Kriya nods and smiles at you. There is no fear in her eye, only excitement. Of course, she is a wizard, so it's understandable. But still, even if you're a wizard, you don't have to act like a fucking dumbass all the time. She's getting too excited. Even my boy was a wizard in Wizard's Choice, so I mean, he was not this dumbfounded and happy-go-lucky all the fucking time. But then again, Kriya is not a wizard, right? Kriya is a sorcerer. I think there's a difference. She could be a wizard. I'm not sure actually. They just call her witch. Then again, she's a witch, so she's just a female wizard, right? Yeah, she's a wizard. Our boy was a wizard as well in the first one. I feel like he's much powerful than Kriya, though. Yeah, I mean, even in the start of the game, he was much powerful than Kriya. I feel like, by the second or third chapter, he was fairly strong. Anyhow, Kriya, no, yeah, oblingly. I think it's like obligatorily. I'm not sure oblingly what that even mean. Allow Kriya to crawl into the mouth first. By the way, how are we crawling in? Are we like on the ground, like literally touching chest to the ground, or just like crawling in? Because that would be uncomfortable as fuck. But are we like on our knees crawling? That's a bit more doable, I suppose. You allow Kriya to crawl into the mouse first. Then when she has disappeared into the blackness, you take a deep breath, crawl in after. The room is furnished with plush chairs surrounding a stone table with what looks like a large map spread out on it. However, you are not sure because you direct your attention to it. The ink goes out of focus. The windows on the far wall command a spectacular view of the city. Kalaak is reclining on a luxurious couch, massaging his temple with one hand, fingering one of his golden cheeks pierced with his other. His wizard cloak of black fur is covering him with a blanket. There's a shimmer beside Kriya, and an instant later an elf appears. Oh, says Kriya, startled, her hand going up to her chest. He is tall for an elf, nearly as tall as you are, with long, dark, cascading hair. His skin is smooth and unblemished, like a girl's. His eyes are spring for a screen. Indeed, he reminds you of an illustration from a romantic adventure story that you once saw a girl reading. The elf's chin is up, his expression annoyed. Report, Lestrel, says Kalaak in a tired voice. I don't understand what Kalaak is. Like, he always employs elf. His first apprentice that we killed was also an elf, and this one is an elf as well. He always goes for elves, but okay. The elf whose name you assume is Lestrel frowns. I followed them for far too long. They're what they appear to be: a fledgling wizard, her familiar, and a man who, well, I really cannot say what his function is. His name is Rooster, though, so I do not think you need need not read more into him. No need to be offensive, you blurt out. The little elf insulted you, say. Agra says nothing. You feel her. I say that little elf insulted you. Who are you saying that to? Just in your mind? Okay, Agra says nothing. You can feel her presence, so you know she's not completely hiding. Nonetheless, she's keeping a low profile. Yeah, he's a wizard. He's not a priest. He should not be able to generally tell her, existence. But if she comes out and start talking to us, he will detect something. Lester pauses, and you think he is going to respond to you, perhaps apologize, but instead he continues. Although they did not make their specific intentions known, I do not think they mean you any immediate harm. You were invisible, says Kriya, putting your finger up to her chin, as though in thought. I suspected there might be someone hidden. Do not flatter yourself. You did not detect me, says Lestrel. Now what is your business with my master? Immediately Kriya steps forward. Oh, mighty one, we have come to give you news of a malevolent danger within your castle. It's about the Thog priest disguised as the captain of guard, says Kalaak. Oh yes, says Kriya, clearly surprised. Priestess, actually, you say. A priestess, says Kalaak, raising his eyebrow. A better disguise than I thought. That's because she's a high priestess, you say. Kriya elbows you. Why is she elbowing us? Do you want to talk to the wizard or something? Anything else? Asks Kalaak, his voice distant. The goblins in the city, you say, dozens, maybe hundreds, and wargs, like giant wolves. Master know what a warg is, hisses Lestrel. Who else have you told this to? Says Kalaak. It shames me to say it. But not a soul, says Kriya. We know there are citizens of the city working with the goblins, including at least one crown guard. Do not know who to trust. Good, says Kalaak. The goblins do not concern me. They're not to be bothered with unless absolutely necessary. Now, an army of goblin under your town doesn't concern you. You say, yeah, this is fucked. I already knew this was a problematic situation. I said it before. I do think I said it before, but I'm not sure. But anyway, this was an obvious situation. What do you expect? I mean, the grand wizard would not know. He has lived at least over 200 years. I do think our boy from the wizard's choice was like 200 years ago, right? I think. But whatever, he's been alive for a long time, and he knows of the goblins living under the city, an army of goblins, and they're dealing with upper class people. So obviously that is a problem. He would obviously know about it, but the reason why he's not acting on it, well, obviously he's involved in it, or he's been told to not bother with it, and he's asking like, who have you told this to? He's going to kill us. There's going to be some weird shit bound to happen. That's the only way we can survive, if he even goes in for the kill, because I don't think we can probably fight. He's not as strong as Drala the multi-eyed witch, but he is fucking strong. You know, don't get it twisted. He is fucking strong too. So yeah. Anyhow, moving on. Fucking hell, that was a rant.